Welcome to everybody, thanks for coming, and sorry for having cancelled the lecture that was scheduled for yesterday. We unfortunately had some problems and we had to reschedule one day later, and we are very sorry for that, and we are twice thankful to you for being here tonight. So the lecture of tonight, we are going to welcome Fabrizio Barozzi from the Barozzi Veiga studio, which is a practice in Barcelona, and we are especially happy to welcome some young architects from Barcelona, recognized internationally, so we feel very close to them, and that's why we asked them to come to present their amazing work. I just read few lines about Barozzi Veiga practice, so you can check that they're actually very much internationally recognized. So Barozzi Veiga is an architectural office that was founded in 2004 in Barcelona and has won numerous prizes in national and international competition, such as the refurbishment of the Palacio de Santa Clara in Úbeda, the Auditorioum of Águilas, the headquarters of the Ribera del Duero in Roa, the Philharmonic Hall in Szczecin, whatever, in Poland, the Musée de Beaux-arts in Lausanne, the extension of Bündner Kunstmuseum in Chur, and much more that you will show us tonight. It has been awarded with many international awards, and especially the last one, it has been awarded with the European Union Prize for Contemporary Architecture, Mies van der Rohe Award 2015 with the Philharmonic Hall of Szczecin in Poland. And this has been a bit the opportunity, the occasion on which Barozzi Veiga has jumped to a new scale of studio from Barcelona to the world, in a way. So thanks a lot for coming tonight, and help me welcome Fabrizio Barozzi. Thanks.
Okay. So, thank you, Silvia. Thank you to the IAAC for the invitation to be here tonight with you. And I'm so sorry for cancel the lecture yesterday. It was my fault, only my fault. I was in South America for other lecture, and I made a very big mistake with the date. So it's not a problem for the organization. It's just my problem. It's not so normal. I try to be every time present at the lecture, but yesterday was a big problem. So I'm so sorry. And thank you for to be here and tonight. No? As you heard, my English is very bad, no? But I hope you can understand more or less everything. And if you don't understand what I say, you can see the picture, and it works more or less. No? Okay. So for tonight, I will present you two projects that we have finished during the last years, and the three principal projects that we have at the office at this time. As Silvia said, I'm Italian. Alberto, my partner, is Spanish, but from Santiago, not from Barcelona, and we started our office here in Barcelona in 2004, so more 11 years ago. No? So since we started our office, basically, well, we start our office with competition, doing competition, and more of this competition abroad in Europe, in different countries. Maybe because I'm Italian and Alberto is Spanish, so this international condition was quite normal for us since we start the office, and in a way I can say that this biographical condition has really marked our way of work, our aptitude in front to thinking architecture. In our case, this ideal this ideal relationship between a place and an architect, this very intimate relation doesn't exist really. We started working in Europe. We understand Europe as our home, really. So we started work in different conditions, with different sensibility, with different way of work. And because of that, I think that one of the key points of our work is the notion of specificity. When we start a project, we always start thinking about what is very specific for one place, what is unique, what is different, what is special for one context. No? And so in a way, a big part of our work is based in this, I can say, old notion of context, no? But we are still convinced that this notion can help a thinking on architecture. So from one side, this idea of specificity is very important for us, but from other sides, a project obviously is based in other type of thinking, is based in more autonomous, no? Or more independent. No? A project is not to fix only in a context, but it has to look forward, no? Show how a reality could be. No? So there are other different notions like what is public, what is necessary, what is also monumental, no? That for us, all these notions have the same importance or at the same level with this reflection of the context. And so between these two extremes, these two very different conditions, reside our work. I can say that what we try to do is basically, in our project, in our architecture, is to find this very, very difficult balance between the specificity of a place and the autonomy of the form. Apparently, this is a contradiction. No? It's a dichotomy. It is impossible to solve it. It is impossible to speak at the same time about what is specific, but what is also autonomous. No? But exactly there, it's a paradox, but exactly there, in this evident contradiction, I think that here reside our work, or what we try to do in a way. We always work in this way: specificity versus autonomy. No? This is, I think that is the more important key for understand our project. No? So the lecture for tonight is focused and trying to explain this this dichotomy, no? This opposition, this fundamental contradiction that move all our works. And the projects that I will show you, I hope that you can understand them like an architectural translation of this very simple and very clear idea. And so the first project that I will show you is the first competition that we won some years ago. Is the regulatory council for the Ribera del Duero. The Ribera del Duero is you know, it's a wine, and this is an office to control the quality of the wine of this region. As you say, the project is placed exactly there. It's just in the limit, no, of this very small town north of Madrid, in the Castilian Meseta, in this very flat, very horizontal, and very old landscape. And in a way, this specific condition, this geographical condition, in a way, mark the project. No? The project, it's to explore this dual condition. From one side, there are some very small elements, no? And they just try to conform this the urban, no, the town, and to finalize all a very fragmented area, no, from this side. And from the other side, one more autonomous element. It is a tower. It tried to establish the limit of the urban in front of the landscape, no? So in a way, like the position where is the project, the architect to explore this dual condition, this duality. And for sure, the other most important thing is that in the middle of the project, it exists here a public space, a plaza, a belvedere, no? And then I will show you, I will speak more about this idea of public space. So from the distance, the project is very, very simple. It's just an element, an archetypical element that mark the limit of the urban in front of the landscape. No, you have to imagine that we are in the north of Madrid, in this meseta, no, in very horizontal space where there are different towers, different medieval elements, and so on and so on. So from the distance, the project is just a transition element, no, from the urban to the organic. No? And what we try to do is to interpret this very specific and very singular condition of this landscape. In a way, what we try to do with the new element and the old building where the regulatory council it's now. We restored also this part. We try to build a fragment of this landscape in a way, and try that the two buildings, with the passing of the time, no, they became a new fragment, no, of this landscape. And if we turn around of the building, no, we start to see in a clear way the extension, no, here, and the pre-existing building, no, and in a way, this image is very clear to understand what I have already said. No, there is the project try to be very specific, very contextual, very atmospheric in a way, but at the same time, it exists something extraneous from the context. The project, no, it is also an independent element, no, that try to forget the same context in a way, no. So, in a way, the project starts just here in the middle, no, where the project touched the old pre-existing building, no, and became and it doesn't work, and became more and more autonomous, no? And then and it finalized with this archetypical element, no? So in a way, this is a really architectural transition, traduction of what I have said before, no? And if we continue to turn around of the building, we discover that the building is something more independent. It's just a landmark, no, that establish a bend, a tension with the horizon, and it finalize the. It doesn't work. It tries to finalize the wall of the old part of the town, no? But the more important plan of the building, it's the plan on the top, no? And where we can appreciate the new building and the extension. And what is very important to notice is that this is a private building, no? But we, in the middle of the project, we do not build a building, but we try to define a public space, no? In a way, in the space where the architecture, it becomes just the frame of the urban in a way, no? And this is this plaza, no? What is very important in this project is not the architecture in itself, but the void that the architecture can compose, and this public space on the top of the building that link this private building to the town, no? And this is also for us is like a manifesto image, because all our architecture, all our project born from the modelization of the public space. All our projects are public building, no, our collective building, and in a way for us is important, is very, very important to understand what give meaning to a project is the work and in the modelization of the public space in a way. And the architecture sometimes is only the frame of the urban, no? And we are always, like in the other image, we are interested to discover new possible scenario for a context. Here, the two buildings, they reveal a new possibility for this area, and some elements like this old fragment of a very old church, they become the skylight, no, to put light into the building. But if we speak about the public space, about all this other notion, it's because there is a very clear programmatical idea at the base of the project. To open this space, this public space, on the roof of the building, we decide to invert the program, to put all the program underground, no? And in this way, it is possible to open the public space upstairs, no? The interior are very, very simple, very, very clear. This is the skylight in the middle of the ruins, no? Where basically only the light it conform the space. And in this section you can see that I like this, so it's better, no? So these two parts, this element and this other element, no, this fragment that appear in the plaza, they are basically a very big skylight, no, to put the light into the building, like there. So the auditorium, for example, in the basement, no, is just conformed from the lights, no, that go down in these two very big skylights, no, from in the opposite. And I have to mention that for us it's very, very important to work with the material, with the materiality, no, for the project. In this case, the entire building is done in stone, but it is not a very thinner stone. It's a wall made by stone, because the idea is to create a new building with the same gravity of the old one, in a way. And working with the material, in a way, we try to improve a sensorial perception of an atmosphere, in a way. And also we can thinking about time, about how the building can be transformed, no, during the time, no? And after this project, we won another competition for a Philharmonic Hall in Szczecin. It has been a very long project, no? We won it when I was 30, and we finished it last year. So we worked in this project for more than 8 years, and in a way, this project has marked in a clear way our path, our way of working, in a way, no? In the way this project mark also the next steps for the other projects. And this image was taken from our office there in Szczecin. It's just a working image, no? But in a way it shows in a very clear way how it is this city. Szczecin is a city in the north of Poland, very close to Berlin, no, just in the border with Germany, and it is a city that was completely destroyed during the Second World War, no. So in the landscape of this city, there are a mix of elements. They appear some housing from 16 and 17 from the socialist period. There are part of the old city. There are Gothic monument and medieval element, no, church and other monument, no, in this flat extension of the city. And in a way, all this mix of elements, they conform what is specific for Szczecin, what is identitary for this city, what they conform the identitary element of this city, no? And in a way, for us, the project should, I don't know, establish a dialogue or an interpretation with all this landscape, no, in a way. And so from the same window, if we turn a little bit the camera, we start to see the Philharmonic there, and then if we joined the two image, no, the image is very distorted, but is not important, no. We can start to perceive that in a way the Philharmonic belongs to this landscape, but at the same time it's still extraneous of this landscape. It shows another possibility reality for the landscape, for this city. And but what does it mean, specificity? In a way, for us, specificity means learn from the context, as simple like that. So this drawing show our neighbor is our closest context is the building just on the right of the Philharmonic. It's an original drawing, no? And here in this drawing appear some elements that compose also the new project of the Philharmonic. But thinking on specificity is important, but it is not enough. Only an autonomous thinking, an independent thinking on specificity can discover an interpretation of the reality. And this is our interpretation. This is something that has a very clear relation with a contextual situation, but at the same time is something that it has a value in itself. It has sense in itself. It exists some internal rule that make that this object has an objectual value in a way. So in a way it is autonomous, it is universal, but at the same time is born from this local or contextual condition. No? The Philharmonic is placed in an area close to the city center of the Szczecin, and exactly in the same place where was the old concert house that was destroyed during the Second World War. And it is the first step of a more bigger urban program that try to reconstruct, no, and dynamize and reactivate a quarter, no, that this part of the city that now is a little bit I don't know, gray and without activities, no. The project, from an urban point of view, it's very simple. It just marks a corner. No, the project filled the entire plot, no, that we was during the competition, and with this simple element, with this simple idea to build a corner, is just a first idea to try to reinforce the urban ensemble. No? So we was conscient that this is the Philharmonic is just a part of a bigger construction, and the bigger construction is the city. No, so in a way, all the elements that conform this project, they born for a dialogue with the city. In a way, all these elements that appear here in the neighbor, no, they appear also in the Philharmonic. The Philharmonic speak about mass, it speak about verticality, it speak about repetition. No, all these elements that are identitary for this context. And also we try to dignify, no, this program, a collective program, a social program like a Philharmonic, no, through a how can I say, a stark monumentality in a way. There is something monumental in the building, but it is also stark. It is also povero, no? It's poor in a way. So this monolithic building, it's appear complex, but it's very, very simple. It's composed by a repetition, a very simple element, no, that with slightly displacement it conform a wall, no, but for sure, when you think or you do a project, there are different influence, no, and in a way, maybe in this project it exists something expressionist in it, no? Also maybe because of the geographical condition where it is placed. And from a materiality point of view, we transform the building, with the facade of the building, to give to the building more autonomy from the context. And the main expressive element of the project is the work with the roof. This is because around the building there is a big trees, so from the distance you can perceive the Philharmonic only, no? You can see only the roof, but also because we try to be synthetic. We try to in this project, but also in the other project, we try to solve a very complex program, a very complex urban condition with a minimum of expressive element. And here in Szczecin, only the work with the roof can with only this element we can establish a relation with the city. As I said, the work with the public space is is very crucial in all our projects. And here, for geographical condition and also because of the site that we had, the work with the public space appears in the interior, not in the exterior of the project. The ground floor is occupied by a very big foyer that become a very public, a very open, and a very social space. And we try also to build, to make the building easily understandable. So when the people enter, they can perceive and they can understand how the building works. So all the public space in different levels are connected with a loop that permit the people move around in all these different levels. So the foyer basically it's a covered plaza. It's an inner it's an inner public space, no? Is linked with the exterior plaza, and it become a very open, no, a very social space. And this space is conformed by three elements from this, with the stairs that move, that show the movement of the people inside of the building, from the lights that become go down from the skylight, and from the two symphonic hall that mark in a very clear way the limit of this space, no? And so what is important in this space is not the architecture, but what happen inside of this space is important. When the people arrive, they give activity to the space, and in a way the architecture is just the background of the activity of the people. This is what is important. Finally, the architecture can be conform in different ways, but the program, the activity, the way of use that it permits is the key point of an architect, a public architect like this Philharmonic, no? So we try to solve a very complex program in the more simple way, no? As I said, we try to be very synthetic. So the plan is very simple. It exists a crown, an external crown that contain all the vertical and technical element, no? And inside the two concert hall, and in the space in the middle, it's public space, no? The chamber hall is a very neutral space. It's just to put different events and so on. And in the transition space between the two halls, the scale of the building changed. It became more domestic, more intimate, no? Like here in the VIP room, no? That is directly connected with the symphonic hall, no? And in the upper floor, no, it's appear another space here, no? It's a multifunctional space for exhibitions and all, and it is the space where the loop, no? It finished basically, no? And this space is suspended above the foyer, no? And so in this way, all the internal public space are visually connected, no? And permit to understand how the building works, no? And it is in this level, in the upper floor, where we can perceive the steep roof, no? And where the light, no, became the main protagonist of this space, no? To understand the building, it is also to understand that we built the Philharmonic with a very, very low budget, also for a budget in Poland. So this economical condition mark all the decision about the project. But what we try has been to transform a limit in an advantage. So in the project, nothing is too much. It exists only what is necessary, in a way. All the decisions about material, floor, ceiling, and so on, no, are marked for this limitation, you know, in a way. For example, we try to create an expressive floor, no, but it is made with a very simple concrete piece that we design, and in a very simple way we can give some expressiveness to the floor, no, in a very, very simple way. And this attitude appears in all part of the buildings. And for sure the main program of the building is the Symphonic Hall, no? The question was how to design a contemporary symphonic hall, no? And we try in this project, but also in the other project, we try to establish a line with an history, no? We try to work in continuity with a story, no? And or with a tradition also. So we start thinking that the symphonic hall should have a link with a tradition, and in this case with the tradition of the classical concert hall of East Europe, no? And to achieve that, we work basically with three elements: with the section, light, and with the ornament. The section that you see here is a reinterpretation of a classical section, a classical typology, no? It's just that. It's just the first step, no, of the project. And we also start thinking that starting from a detail, no, starting from an ornament, maybe we was able to conform the entire whole, no? And also working with this idea of ornament, it's also a link with an history, with a tradition, no? So we start with a detail, but also with a very unusual material like the golden leaf for the finishing of the whole, no? So the challenge for the design of the concert hall was to link ornament and technique. If we are able to do that, if we link an ornamentation with a technical function, it is not a decoration. It's something more of that. So this is the ceiling of the roof. All these planes have a very, very precise acoustic function, no? And in a way, the hall is basically, the concert hall is an ornamentation in a big scale, no? In a large scale, no? Starting from a detail, no? We compose the entire building, and there is something in continuity with an history, no? But transformed in another way, no? So I spoke about the section, the ornament, but also the light, no? The light is another link with a history. It's a very important element for the classical concert hall. So it's appeared two big skylight in the in the two side of the Philharmonic, no? So we can put the natural light inside of the concert hall, and also in this way we can perceive we can modify the perception of the material, no? The golden leaf is very, very sensible with the change of light, no? So during the day, no, the perception of the concert hall will change radically, no? So the whole basically it's a carved element, an element of jewelry, no, inside of a very austere building. No? But it is when I speak about specificity, it means also understand how in a geographical condition it is possible to work. There in Poland it still exists a tradition that permit to work with this golden leaf, with this artisanal work. So what we try to do has been take advantage of this tradition in a way, you know. And here we can see how the material change with the light, no. The concert hall is a very complex instrument, no. We try to solve all the elements in a very simple technical element in a very simple way, and it appears some part where all appear very natural, very simple, no? But if we turn the perspective, the scale change of the building, all, no? And the perception of the concert hall will change radically. It is also important to understand that this Baroque hall, it has been built with a very, very simple industrial elements. No, there are a light element that permit to conform this complex geometry. No, but it is important also to understand that all these elements, all these fragmented elements, no, the floor, the ceiling, the wall, etc., no, are made to achieve the best acoustic. This is the key point of this project, and it is not so obvious because there are many concert halls with a very, very bad acoustic, but in a way we try to work for the musician in a way, no? And in this way our work as an architect has a sense, no? in a way. And the facade, in a way, it is also an ornamentation. It exists. It's very simple. There is a glass wall here and some aluminium element, no, in the facade, painted in white, and the isolation is there, no. So this simple composition of the facade permit to perceive the building in different way. It appears very monolithic from a certain angle, or more lighter in if we see in front, and it is also a facade very, very sensible to change of light, no? It depends of it appears some reflection in the image. It's a bit difficult to understand it, but it depends of the light and the perception, the materialization of the building. It changes radically, and there is also a very smooth sophistication in the facade. There is a plinth, no, to join the slab with the ground floor, no, and the section of this slab is thinner, no, and permit to control the link with the sky, no. And when the evening approach, no, the building start showing its duality. The facade start to be to work with light, no. The perception of the building it change, no, and in a certain time, in a certain time, the perception of the building it changed dramatically. No, it's appear lighter. It expresses the activity, the inside activity. No, and through the modification of the intensity of the light, no, the building permits to invite people to enter, and when the night arrive, only the light mark the building in a way, no? And so in the transformation of the building, it's complete. But what is very important of this building is, in a way, is not the architecture. Is that after more than 8 years of working, the city, as they understand that it was an important building for the city, a social building, a public building, and the people can use it during the entire day. And I think that was the most important thing of the building. It's really the first step of a more general reorganization of a part of the city. No? So, and if a building achieves this condition, is the most important thing. Is what gives sense to our work in a way. So I will show you now more quickly the three projects that we are doing now at the office. Some years ago, we won a competition, a very important competition for a cultural quarter in Lausanne, in Switzerland. In the city center of Lausanne, we designed a master plan to put there the three principal museums of the Lausanne: the Fine Art Museum, the Design Museum, and the Photography Museum. The site is a huge site. It's all this site here, just in the city center. No? And there are different industrial building in the middle, and the central, this building, it was it is an old building from the 19th century, and the crucial point was also discover how to work with this existing building. So this is the actual condition of the site, and to do this project we worked for many months, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months also, and we was able to design the project when we start thinking that was more important to establish an urban strategy than thinking only in the architectural object. So when we start thinking to the project in this way, we propose this new diagram where the core of the project are not the three building, but is this new plaza right there, no? That is connected with the plaza in front of the train station there, no? And in a way, this simple scheme, it permits to link this big part of the city to the city in a way. And so after that, the project was very, very simple. Like in the first project that I show, the architecture is just the frame of the urban. Nothing, no more than this. What is important of this image, it is what's happened here. Is this new esplanade, this plaza, no, that permit to conform a public space, and the three buildings are just, no, a frame. But again, the Musée de Beaux-arts, no, the Fine Art Museum is the biggest museum, is still something very, very specific for this condition, no? Because it tried to interpret this industrial condition. It's a container, no? It's very rigorous, it's very pragmatic, it's very hard also, no? It tried to establish a link with a certain atmosphere, no? Thinking on specificity for us, it means also discover also able to link a certain architecture to a certain place in a way, no? And so it is specific, but it is also at the same time something more autonomous, that is as his internal rules that give it sense by itself in a way. So this is the general master plan, no? And what is also important, and for to open this urban condition, this urban scheme, we decide to demolish a big part of the old building. It was a very radical decision, but we start thinking also that to preserve a memory of a place is not so necessary to preserve the entire building. Maybe we can work with a different fragment, no? With an association of different fragments that permit to establish a more, I don't know, intellectual link with the memory of a place, no? So, following this idea, we preserve a very small piece, a very small fragment of the old building, but it became the more important compositive element of the new project. The new project and the fragment, it established a very classical relation. There is a background, the museum is a background, no? Where the fragment, the pre-existing building, is the figure, no? To put on the background, no? And from the other side, from the side through the railways, the project is very, very close, also to protect the art collection inside. And from the other side is more open, more permeable, no? More and to try to give activity to the urban space. The ground floor is very public. It's an inner extension of the outer square. There are the cafe, library, and so on. But what is important to notice that the relation with the fragment is not anecdotal, no? But it is it's something substantial, no? The foyer is there, and it's conformed there from the pre-existing building, no? And it is the element where all the building start in a way, no? So these curved windows that for us was the most I don't know, emotional element of the pre-existing building, from the interior it is transformed in something new, no? But it is still the main important compositive element of this new foyer. No, all this. Then the project is very pragmatic, super pragmatic. From the right, temporary exhibition. From the left, at the left, permanent collection. The stairs, or upstairs, and in the upstairs, we, like in the project for the Philharmonic, no, we discover this idea that we try to solve a very complex project. This is a very big museum where with you can imagine the different programs and so on in a very simple way. All the building, it conform only with 5 core, no, that conform the structure, the construction, they divide the program, and also they conform the form of the building. So in a way, we still try to be very, very synthetic, no? And this is the upper floor, no, with the natural light that coming inside. Only 9th month after this competition, we won another competition again in Switzerland for the extension of the Fine Art Museum in Chur. Chur, it's a small city in the Graubünden region, is in the south of Zürich, no? And the image is not so good, but the project plays in the limit of the historical city. This is the museum. The collection of the museum is hosted in this building. And to understand the project, I have to say to notice about this building. It's a beautiful building, but a little bit strange, because it is an 18th century villa built in a neo-Palladian style. It's an interpretation of the Rotonda by Palladio, but it exists an oriental decoration. No, it is impossible to see it in this image, but here there is some decoration also here. No, here there are at the entrance there are two sphinx. No, and in a way this oriental condition, I think that also Peter Zumthor has interpreted it or worked with it, because when in 1982 he had the two winter garden, it made this extension here and there, and also it transformed the basement for exhibition space. He built something, I don't know, Japanese in a way. No, it's very simple, very clear. There is a repetition of this vertical element. No, and around the building it exists also a small romantic garden. No, very small, but with different sculpture there. No. So the project was very, very complex. No, you can see here the central scheme. No, here. No, from La Rotonda, the Palladio is clear. The Zumthor extension here, and also the bridge that was one of the first project made by Zumthor, and the site was here. The plot was very, very small, and was very, very small, and the idea was to put a very big program right there. So what we try to do, it's not so obvious when the people see the project, but again, the crucial element of this project is the garden. It's the element able to connect the old building and the extension. We work with the garden. We try to extend the garden around also the new building and use it to conform the two buildings like one urban unit in a way. So to do that, we try to compact in a maximum way the program, no, and take out all the element for the new building from the old one. And this is the project. The project in December, I have no picture of the building, but it's finished. And I can see that there are two themes for this project. There is something Palladian in its central plan, no? But it is also a relation with this oriental decoration that conform the original building. So it's something, again, very specific for this context. It was born for the interpretation of a very singular condition, but at the same time the new building is a very autonomous. It has sense by itself in a way, no? Programmatically, it's very clear. Again, we discovered the potential of the urban because we proposed to put underground the exhibition spaces. There are the permanent exhibition spaces, the temporary exhibition spaces, technical element, and outside it's appear only the public program, foyer, pedagogical spaces, atelier, and so on. No, and the link with the old building is made underground. No, so this intimate relation with the existing building, it's appear also in the foyer because the facade of the old building it is the facade of the new one. No? The project super synthetic. It's made only with two core. And it is all. The central foyer, it establishes a very geometrical relation with the pre-existing, with the pre-existing building, and again we solve the complex with the more pure scheme. The stairs for to go down, the internal space are very classical, to expose a very beautiful collection that they have with artificial light. This was possible for this type of art collection that they have. The first basement, the sequence of this very simple and well proportioned area, and in the second basement we discover again where it is just a structure. It exists only the two core, and the interstitial space is for temporary exhibition. So again, there is its idea to dignify also a collective program like that, through this idea of we try to work with this idea of monumentality also, with a stark monumentality. And the facade is very complex. It's basically a bas relief, that conform the entire facade. It composed by a small concrete element, 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. It's a prefab element. Here in Switzerland, it is possible to do that. We try to take advantage also from a technical knowledge that it exists there to work with concrete. And the last project that I show you is another project in Switzerland for the Dance Academy in Zürich. This is the context. It's a very interesting area. The site of the project is there outside of the picture. This is the Limmat River, is the principal river that crosses the city. And it's beautiful, this area, because it's a mix of elements. There are modern tower, infrastructural metallic element, bridge, silos, a factory, an old establishment for it's a natural swimming pool there, And so what we try to do was again interpret this condition, and the project is placed just on the side of the river, and still now I show you all the projects that I show you. They try to mark an urban presence, but sometimes a project also should step back in a way, and it is the case of this project. The project, it exists, but what the three elements that appear are the existing building. In this case, for a contextual condition, we decide to do not do a building, don't build a building, but a public topography. The project is just a plinth, a socle, for the existing building, no? And we transform a private area, no, in a public one. The people can move in the roof, it's appear the garden, also in the first level, but also, no, in this walk along the river that now is very a dangerous area, and we try to reactivate this area also. Also to put the foyer and the entrance of the building in this part, no, and not here linked with the street. So the building is just a plinth and this urban topography, and what we try to do is to I don't know how to say to build an urban scenography. The project just mark a facade along the river, no? It is a terraced element, it is a public element, and it is a concrete element made by a serial and obsessive repetition of an element, no? Like in this industrial and infrastructural element that appear in the context. We designed the section and trying to open this path, this walk around the river. No? The people can move in all the level, no? And from the other angle, it is very it's not established. It's not in opposition with the pre-existing building. It's a very small piece. No? And also again, it's something very pragmatic, because this session it permits to put in a clear way the program, the administration, the study for ballet here, the foyer, but also to host the big studio right there. No? The first floor, the plants are not very simple. It's not important, and the ground floor with the foyer like that. And the foyer again, it's I don't know, it's a public space, very linked in a clear way with the exterior space, no, and it permits to try to reactivate this part of the city of the city. And all the build. I hope that with this presentation you can perceive what I said during the introduction. No, we work in a paradox. No, we ever try to do something that belong to a place, but at the same times that belong to all places. No, and with this I have finished, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Fabrizio, for your very generous lecture. You managed to explain the paradox, so I think it was a success, because you managed to do it, and you demonstrate that the Mies van der Rohe Award it has been more than deserved. So thanks for that. Now is the moment on which the one of you that want to ask something to Fabrizio can just lift the hand and speak directly with our lecturer.
I would like you to explain us the construction of the cover, the roof, that very inspiring roof of the Philharmonic. How do you manage to build it, and how did you manage to avoid snow, rain? Maybe it's a pragmatic question, but I'm very interested in seeing either your structure, the material of the finish, and how do you manage to really develop that shape? Yeah, if
Sorry, we'll need to share microphone. I'm sorry.
No, the question is interesting. Really, the roof, it's a very, very complex structure, and basically it's we designed this type of structure for a conceptual reason that I try to explain, but from a constructive point of view, it's also interesting because it's a shape very performative from a structural point of view, because for to do the beam over the concert hall, no, the triangular, basically it's a triangular beam in section, it's a triangular beam that permits to achieve this very large span. Thank you. This span, no, in the concert hall. So from it's a metallic structure. So from a structural point of view, it's worked quite well, but it also permits to put above of the concert hall all the technical elements without to improve the volumetry of the building, because normally in the ceiling of the concert hall you need I don't know, 3-4 meters to put all the technical element, and working with this triangular section we reduce at the minimum the space, no, for the external space for this technical element. So it's quite performative also from this point of view. For sure, to work with the snow, it was problematic. I have to say that normally in Szczecin there is not so much snow, because is in the coast with the Baltic area. It is very it's not so normal that snowing there, but to solve this problem, all the triangular faces are with sono riscaldate, heater. They are heaters, so that we can sciogliere the rain. In Italy, and also this shape it's permit to basically the aerial image that I show you is take from a building from Szczecin. It's not an aerial view because there are some different tower from the 16th, so the people can see the Philharmonic from above, and the roof is very there are no technical elements, it's very clear, no? So
other questions?
Talking about the same project, correct me if I'm wrong, but why couldn't we read, you talk about specificity of the project, why couldn't we read the specificity of the roof inside the plan of the Philharmonic?
Inside of the plan? Exactly.
So when you moved into the plan, I thought it was a different project or something. What was the advantage of this triangulation you did? Or it was only a membrane just to, impress people? I don't know.
No. Bueno, I showed. It's working? Yeah. Okay. Basically the idea of the building, it's work with very normal typology from this part of the city. Basically, basically all the building is made by a repetition of a very simple piece. It's a rectangular with two roof, no? And so it's normal, I can see, typological element, extract from this condition in our interpretation. If you visit the cities or all the north of Poland, the city from north of Poland, they are very characterized by this very steep roof, no, in all the men. So we try to work with this idea in a way. And after that, these elements permit to apart this conceptual reason, work very well from a technical point of view, as I explained, to make the beam, no? And also in the upper floor there is a big area, surface, a big multifunctional area. I saw an image, but it's not so clear. But you can, from the inside of the building, you can perceive this shape, this element, and it permits to conform this space in different way. It's a very in an open space, no, or there are different sectors, no. You can manage and organize the internal space as you want, and it works quite well also for the exhibition or the event or conference and so on. What we try to do it has been to starting from a typological element, transform it in something coherent and useful to do the structure of the Philharmonic, basically. This and so in this sense, for us, it's something that works quite well with this context, no? But it's, for example, is the work, the project in Szczecin is different from, for example, the first project that I show, because therefore in the project in Roa, the context was very consolidato, very not rigid. It's very old, it's very defined, it's very structured. So we just try to work in continuity with. But in Szczecin, the condition was exactly the opposite. The Szczecin is a city composed by fragments in a way, you know? And the idea was also that the Philharmonic was able to conform a mark for an area. No? For this reason, for example, we modify the materiality of the building. We try to work not in continuity in this way, but to discover a urban presence there.
Other questions?
Hi, my question is actually a continuation of the same thing, along the same lines. In a sense, was the paradox between outside and inside something that you had also factored in? You were talking about the paradox of specificity that you were trying to balance, but also that of outside to inside. Because from the outside, it looks like very light sort of transparency. There is a yearning for transparency, but then in the inside it's more solid. So was that paradox also factored in? Was it conscious, or maybe you already answered it? I don't know.
No, we was conscious about that. Yeah, for sure. The interior space of the key point to organize all the interior space of the Philharmonic, is this idea to create a very public and backspace in the ground floor. Basically, it works with that. And for to do that, we also improve the scale of the building. No, because the section of the building, the foyer, it's like a covered plaza. Really, they are 18-meter high. No, and for to do that, also for to do that, we also made some. We have some limitation for the material, for example. No, finally we decide all the interior is very, very simple. It's made with plaster. No, it's not for that because we have no other possibility for to do that. But we try to improve this public, more public condition in spite of work with different material. And but this idea, no, of work in continuity with a tradition, with a specificity, I think that it's appear quite clear in the work with the concert hall. No, the concert hall, it's the huge program, is what makes sense, no, give sense to the Philharmonic. And in this part of the building, this program, we try to continue what we start from outside of the building, inside of the building.
Yeah.
More
I get
less.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we leave it here tonight, also because Fabrizio just landed from the South America, so might be also tired. So it's time now for having a beer all together. So just let's thank again Fabrizio for his very inspiring lecture. Thanks.